Yep, you're good now.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sanchez. Present. Vice Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Farr.
Here.
Councilmember Calderon.
Here.
Councilmember Roberts.
Here. Any participation forum, members of the public may address the city council on matters not listed on the agenda. The city council may not discuss nor act on any community participation item. But forward by a member of the community. Comments are requested to be limited to 3 minutes. Have any comments?
No speaker cards, Mr. Mayor.
Seeing none, for consent agenda, none. Items for council consideration. Number 1, mid-year budget review.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I wanted to do this study session to give Council and anyone from the public that has any questions on the mid-year budget adjustment that I am proposing. I prepared a staff report. I'm not going to spend too much time in there to give Council and public adequate time to ask any questions. But I am going to run through my staff report really quickly. I'm just going to point out the biggest adjustments that I thought needed to be noticed. Nothing too drastic in the council or the council abatement department. Administration department did have a 35K increase to salaries to cover the employee costs. 18.5 increase to professional accounts for the attorney receiverships that's currently ongoing. I did want to note that 14K of this amount is reimbursable through NCCSIF. It was the employee enrichment program that will be reimbursable. Let's see, 30K increase to special departmental expense. This counts used about half of this amount, or 13K, I should say, goes to the city of Chico to comply with SB 1383. And then about 15K goes to Butte County GSA, which is Groundwater Sustainability Act. Overall increase to the administration department is about 86,000. Ford Ranch Station, that's a new department we created since we took over the order transfer station out there. We didn't have anything budgeted because we took it over after the budget had been approved. But we're putting in 8,000 to cover, some minor repairs that need to be done. And then next fiscal year or next budget, we'll really look into see what needs to be improved. Maybe we need to put something in reserve for that. But for now, we agree that 8K in that account was probably more than sufficient, hopefully more than sufficient. Attorney increasing 40K by professional services. This is for all the attorneys handling the litigation that the city is currently ongoing. Minor increase to the city hall maintenance, just for a more accurate budget. Decrease of 11 by 11,000 decrease to the city hall maintenance. So that's good. Not too many repairs need to be done. Finance department decreasing by 50,000. The professional services. This is if you guys recall, we did have accounting consultants in the past, but now about 2 years, maybe we had a full staff. They're up to speed and we haven't used them at all this fiscal year. So we're completely cutting that out. We're leaving a little bit on there to cover some, like our softwares, some banking, well, not banking fees. We don't have that anymore. To cover some of the softwares that we need, some of our auditors, we need to pay them too. So there's still some money left over in that account. Overall decrease about 49,000 for the finance department. Police, increasing salaries by about 80K to cover for 2 additional police officers. This was in the Biggs contract. The reason why we're increasing now is the budget was approved, and I think later that night, the city of Biggs approved the Biggs contract, so that there wasn't really any time to put that in there, so we're just making that adjustment now. 22K increase for extra help, that's all the part-timers. About 35K special departmental expense, that's to cover the annual Axons payment, those are the body worn cameras. That the police wear, 170,000 for a new police vehicle, again, that was noted in the Biggs contract for police services. And then overall, about 292,000 increase to this department. I know it's a big number, but about 190,000 of that is being covered through the city of Biggs contract. Bentif, about 21,000 overall decrease for that, just reallocating some of those funds. Same thing with school resource officer department. The fire department, about 14,000 decrease to the equipment maintenance. We are getting a new fire truck here sometime this month. So with that new fire truck, it should decrease maintenance repairs and costs. There is 150K decrease to the special departmental expense, but at the time we did the budget, we didn't have the debt service interest account and the equipment account. The 150K is really being distributed between those two accounts, and that's to pay the loan of the fire truck payments. So this is to really account for what's principal and what's interest. Overall, it's still decreased about $7,000 for the fire department. Animal control decreasing salaries by 20K, decrease the retirement by 15K, and then about 27,000 decrease to that animal control. Streets, 15K decrease to the salaries, 8,000 decrease to extra helps. There's enough funds in the parks department to cover the part-time workers that public works usually gets about spring or so. Just some other minor increases to overtime, fuel expense. You're gonna see the fuel expense across I believe the water and the sewer as well. Overall decrease to the streets department, about 16,000. Engineering increasing 25K to engineer costs. This is to cover all the engineers, not just our city engineer, but maybe some that are working on like the sports complex or other projects. So some of these are reimbursable, like through a grant, or maybe they do some work for developers that the developer will pay a deposit and the fees will get charged to that deposit. So not all of them, but some of these are reimbursable. About 28,000 overall increase to the engineering. For a courtyard, 75,000 decrease to equipment. They did have a CIP project for security for the courtyard, and that's going to be rolled forward to future budgets. In the parks department, 10K increase to professionals. This will allow staff to pursue and hopefully apply for some grants as they come out for our parks. 35,000 decrease to equipment. It was for a new mower that will be rolled forward to future budget. In the recreation department, 37K increase to salaries to cover the wages of the both full-time and the part-time employees. Just under 19K increase to the soccer league to cover the expenses that was mainly due to the community feedback as soccer had started and to purchase the correct equipment. 62,000 overall increase to that department. Boat ramp, just some minor increase to cover utilities out at the boat ramp. Planning, about 17K increase to the health insurance, 50K increase for professional for the on-call services. Some of those services are covered by developers or other projects that we can get reimbursed from. Overall increase to the planning department is 33K. Successor agency accounts, this is funds 208 to 10 mainly. Nothing really for fund 215, but 119K increase and 187K increases to pay for our bond. These are covered through the RPTTF. Every year we go to the county, to the oversight board and present our rock schedule. And then we present how much we need. And the oversight board will either approve or deny. Usually we are in compliance, so they approve. So this is to budget for that. The gas tax funds, as you recall, we did have, I want to say about 5 funds for gas tax. We consolidated them into one now, so because of that, we are decreasing the payment that we figured we would have to make for the UAL, the unfunded accrued liability, by 52K. And then we did put some money in there to do some equipment maintenance to the street sweeper, and then a little bit of money in the special departmental for some little things that break for the street sweeper maintenance. 42K overall decrease in that department. Minor changes to the SB 35 TDA fund, 1.2K. Same thing with traffic safety, flood maintenance, just some corrections to the salaries and benefits in all these funds, 580, 581, 582. Electric, increasing salaries by 150K for a new lineman hire, increase to the overtime. That's being taken down for the health insurance because we have excess money in that account. So that's kind of a wash. Decrease to 225 for the power purchase. The projection we received is slightly overstated. So we have some money that we'll be able to cut from there. 25K CIP project, that's being decreased from electric, but it's being applied to the public benefits fund. It's more of a lighting project out of the boat, about the boat launch. That's the only thing for public benefits. Water, decrease in extra health fund account. There's enough money in the parks to cover that. 20K increase to the special department account. Hydrant relocation was charged here, but the major expenses are for chlorine. There's something that Jerry has brought up that he's seen a big increase in that cost. 20K equipment for ERTs. And ERT is something that's attached to the either water or electric meter, a little device attached to it, and that's what transmits the signal so that we can pick up the correct read when we do billing, utility billing. So that's to replace some of that are broken or just need to be replaced. Sewer operating, again, you've increased the fuel costs, some increase to special departmental expense to cover the credit card fees. I know we spoke about moving those fees over to the customers, but apparently they're overbooked, and we're still waiting for an implementation specialist to get us on board for that. 15, the sewer plant, 15K decrease in salaries. 80K increase in utilities to cover the solar costs of the solar that's out there. And then a CIP project got moved to future budgets. Sewer town, decreased extra help. There is an increase to a 40K increase for a new grinder. It was in the CIP project and it was going to be addressed and replaced at future budgets, but the current one has failed and it's a vital piece of equipment. So we're going to try to get that done this fiscal year. Between operating plant in town, 99K overall increase to the sewer. Senior taxi, 38 decrease to salaries because a full-time employee retired. We added some money to the extra help. And then with the full-time employee retiring, it just aligns the health insurance of that. We are leaving 10K to hopefully apply for some more grants for maybe a bus or something. The next three is the Feather River crossing, 400K engineering costs. It is 100% grant, 100% grant funded. The outdoor equity, 38K to that department. We have enough money to do one more year of that. So that's 100% grant funded. And then the Gridley Sports Complex, we're just reallocating some of the professional expense money to the engineering costs. 3 million of that is reimbursable through a grant, but I did note that we are currently 900,000 over budget on that one, projected, of course. And then I just listed a summary, $1.1 million increase to the overall budget. A big number, I know, so I wanted to kind of break it down. I $500,000 is strictly from the reimbursable grants. 306 of that is that RDA, that RPTTF that we go to the county for the oversight board. 187,000 of that will be covered with the Biggs contract. So the true operating increase is roughly 166,000. Overall, it is increasing by 1.1 million, but I wanted to kind of break it down so you can see there's some money that we are recouping. I know I went through a lot, so I am happy to answer any questions you need.
I have a question for. I know the engineer is. The department is getting an increase. Given the background of for engineers, sometimes it's lack of vision. Really impairs the service. The people really paying a lot of money to be efficient. What are his training goals? Because he can't just take the money and keep doing the same thing.
I believe we're under contract with him. And when we talk about our city engineer, I think we need to recognize it's a team of people that have different qualifications based on the needs of the city. I believe his qualification is that he's a certified engineer with a team of professionals with him. One of the options we have as a city is to go out for an RFP, which is due for 2026 anyway. And I think that's where we would put out the RFP and we would make the decision on whether we continue with Bennett Engineering or you go into contract with a different engineering firm.
So is it a review of the contract? Is it kind of
It's coming up
coming up?
It's not a review of his contract. It's a request for proposals. So the city will be putting that out for any engineering company to submit a proposal for engineering services with the city of Ridley.
Thank you.
I also do want to note the increase to engineering costs is not just for Bennett, it's any engineer doing work for the city.
That's primarily our engineering, that right?
I'd have to see the breakdown percentage, but probably, yeah.
Our overall budget increase was $1,163,634. And if I'm reading this right, they were gonna grant funding for about half of that, correct?
Yeah.
How is that has to be applied for, or is that in the?
No, we already have that. It's the three grants. One is that Feather River sewer crossing grant. The other one is the OEP grant, the Outdoor Equity Program, which is the rec free for the customers. We take them to different little activities or places for free. So that's reimbursable. And then the sports complex, we haven't hit the $3 million mark yet, but that's reimbursable to $3 million.
And then $187,357. That comes from Biggs for our.
Yeah, that was in their big contract.
What we do in our police department down
Yeah.
there. So it's a big number, but it's whittled down quite a bit too.
It is a big number, but I wanted to show kind of the breakdowns. We do have to increase it by 1.1, but I wanted to show what's reimbursable and what is being covered by other sources.
You call me?
Yeah, I have a question, Mayor. So I think the only thing I'm missing here is if there's like a row or a column that says out of everything that we will get reimbursed, what is the outstanding? I don't know if it's the right word, unfunded amount. Would it be the labor increases for the recently approved labor union agreements of 166,000? So out of that 1.163 million amount, and then you start reducing, this amount we're gonna get reimbursed. because of the Biggs contract or because of other grants, for example, for the Feather River grant? What would you say is the amount that is still, we're gonna be looking to fill? If that makes sense.
Are you asking how much of the grant is left over? Like how much we,
Right, so out of the overall budget increase of 1.1 million. And then you deduce all of the grants that we will get reimbursed, so you start subtracting, what is that leftover amount? That we may have to search.
What's the net?
well, the Feather River crossing, I believe, is 100% grant funded. Same with OEP. I think we got 280K for OEP and we're about 113,000. We have it for one more year. We're not gonna reach that mark, so that's basically 100%. The sports complex one is reimbursable for up to $3 million. We haven't hit the $3 million mark. So, and I don't think we're gonna hit it for the rest of the fiscal year. So for this budget, it will be fully reimbursable. I think we're gonna see a big hit at the next budget because currently we're projected to have 900,000 over budgets. So I think we're gonna see some of that in next year's budget.
And are we preparing for that?
We have some plans. We are chasing some grants. There are some grants open. I think there's one open that we're currently in progress for applying for with California Consulting. And we're hopeful that'll help out if we get it. I can't remember the name of the grant that we're currently chasing. There's about 4 or 5 that we're currently working on. But I can get that information to you if you'd like.
And it's a good segue into the California Consulting. I know the council approved their contract a couple months ago. Can you provide us with an update as to any additional grants that they've been able to find for us? And what that relationship looks like right now?
Yeah, we're 2 that we're actively working on right now. One of them is the cybersecurity grant to help increase our protection for like cyber attacks and things like that. We're currently applying for that one right now. And then the other one that comes to mind is the
There's the EV charging.
EV charging
stations.
station that one that we're currently working with right now. And then there's another one upcoming too, the heat wave resiliency, something
For the community
for the
center.
community. We're planning to do a community center. It's really premature. I don't have too much specifics. It's not released yet. But we know we're gonna be chasing that one for hopefully a community center somewhere within the city. To be used as a cooling center, and then we can have other uses. Maybe it's a basketball court, but it can be used as a cooling center for when the heat wave comes. Right now, we use the recreation, but it's not a true cooling center. So this would make it an official spot.
Are you meeting with them monthly? What does that progress look like? Because I know it looks as though a lot of the grants that they have been able to identify for the city to apply for are more on the environmental side, as you said, EV charging. But what about Parks and Rec? We haven't heard a lot of conversation around that. And also housing. Is anything out there available now, or that's something that the consultant is not prioritizing? What does that look like?
It says they're released, so we do meet with them monthly, quarterly, I'm sorry. And then they give us an update of new grants that are projected to be released, and they give us a TBD on those. And then we go over our current grants, what's the status, what have we been awarded, what have we not been awarded. As for housing, we are pursuing the CDBG NOPA grant right now. We're currently working on that one as well. And then we are hoping to use that to help with some of the housing that's coming in.
I want to also add, one of the last discussions we had with California Consulting, and these meetings are usually, they involve the entire department. When we go through these grants from each area, we would like to narrow and focus a lot of the grants that they're bringing to us on the list of CIP projects, because if they're bringing you grants that you're not necessarily planning for, we need to kind of look to narrow the scope of what they're looking for that coincides with how the city is wanting to move forward strategically. So more of them having the vision of where the city is going is having them look at our CIP projects and be more focused on what they're bringing. So for example, just to review what he's mentioned on the what Martine's mentioning on the EV charging stations. We purchased, if I could bring your recollection to those two EV sites, one on each side of the tracks. And then we also thought, well, it would be good to have a third site, which would be Manuel Vieira Park, have an EV charging station there. And maybe that would also assist with resurfacing that area. And then we're looking at the extension of Laurel Street for CDBG program income. There's zero match on that. So we're in the process of trying to move forward with that. The other grant would be for the resiliency, which focuses on having a community center. And we've talked about that. I believe the city has property in the industrial park that we could focus on maybe putting community center there. But it's best for a lot of these grants, in order for us to qualify, we have to be shovel ready. So how do you get these bigger grants that other cities are receiving if you're not ready? And part of the shovel ready is having the design work done, having the cost estimate bids ready, the environmental, all of the groundwork has to be done first. So the city is focusing right now on the planning aspect of it. So for example, the EV charging, it's for EV charging stations, but we're having the design work and the planning. So if we can go after that first to help alleviate some of the use of the general fund for those grants, then we get the planning side done. Once we have that work done, the design, the planning, then we go after the actual construction of the grant, which will be put at a higher point system because we are shovel ready.
Also, being an EV station, that also qualifies for the green energy project, which gives you favorable for grants too.
Yes, we're,
Projects like that.
that's right. And have reached out with our partners, BCAG, and we're discussing some of those. I think you've mentioned it with a lot of the transportation grants and bike lanes. And as the city is growing, we're gonna need the planning, the technical grants to assist us with a lot of this work so that we're not paying consultants and engineers that specialize in this out of general fund money. We're trying to get the groundwork done on a lot of that to help build and be ready for the bigger projects that make them shovel ready. Thank you.
Any more comment in the council? Open it up to the public. Any discussion on this item? Question? Pat, Charlie, really? On sewer plant, 80,000 increase in utilities for a solar. You would get some light on that.
Yeah, we have a solar, we have solar out there that we pay a third party, I forget the name of that company, Lightbeam, I want to say. They help offset some of the utility costs to run the sewer plant. So there's a whole bunch of solar out there and then they charge us a certain amount on the production.
So. Okay, you might explain that PG&E is our source of power out there. Right?
Yeah, we pay PG&E, so we have a bill with PG&E. Thank you, Bruce. We have a bill that we get from PG&E, but we also have solar that will help offset some of the PG&E costs. So the amount we pay to the solar company is a lot less than PG&E.
So we receive bills on a monthly basis for the solar. There's a portion that is credited through the solar, but it doesn't cover all of it. So there's a portion that the city has to pay to PG&E for services out there. And that's the portion that has risen that we have to cover.
It's risen by $80,000.
Well, the 80,000, that's normally how much this costs. An error on my part, I didn't budget back in June.
Okay,
So
this is right. All right, that's it. Didn't understand the magnitude.
Yes.
And I think it's in there just to because it's only, if they do a year end bill reconciliation.
Yep.
So I think at the time the budget was looked at, that's usually that bill comes in after the fact. So I think that's where the adjustment has to be made because they do, almost like when you have a solar bill, it's at the end of the year recon. That's what happens with PG&E. We get one big bill that comes from them at the end. I think it's one or two.
The true.
Yeah, it's a true up that we receive, so that's why it was missed.
More discussion? Entertain a motion.
This is just a study session, I believe that I won't need a
Yeah,
motion.
no, there's no action item on the study session agenda. Just Mayor, this item is agendized on the regular meeting agenda though, starting at 6.
We are at that mark, Mayor, so if you want to, we're at the 6 mark, so we could go probably open up for a regular session. Yeah.
No more discussion, we'll be closed till 6 o'clock.